I'm here with Gary McKechnie, award-winning National Geographic author, travel writer, historian, who's done extensive research on Desi Arnaz, and particularly Desi Arnaz's history here in Miami Beach. But he's going to talk to us a little bit about what got Desi Arnaz, who later became such an important film star, television star with I Love Lucy, married to Lucille Ball, and so instrumental in kind of the behind the cameras aspect of filmmaking and television as well. What got him to Miami Beach to begin with, and kind of the political aspects of what Miami Beach was like at the time.
Sure, Dan. And it's interesting. If anyone comes to America, if they're a refugee, they may think, well, this is all current. It's only happening now. But if you go back 90 years to 1933, it was the Batista Revolution in Cuba. Desi Arnaz's father was a doctor. He was also a senator. And because he was in power with the current government, he was overthrown and he was thrown in jail. And all of the family's properties were burned or looted. Desi didn't have anything left. And so his father was put in prison. And about 6 months later, his father was released through however that happened. His father had no place to go. He can't stay in Cuba anymore, so he has to come to America. Miami was the place. Miami Beach was the place. Desi is 16 years old, doesn't speak English, doesn't have any money, doesn't know anyone in America except now his father. And they move right here to Miami Beach. And they're living, they don't know how to make a living. His father doesn't speak English that well. He's not going to practice medicine. He's not going to get into politics. So what can he do? Well, he starts laying tile in homes around here. And he's trying to buy tile. One time a pallet of tile came in and it broke, all of it broke. And he's thinking, there has to be a way. I've got to figure out a way because all my money is in this tile. And so he takes the broken pieces of tile, and when he goes to the client's house, he starts putting the broken pieces together and going, this looks good. This looks nice. Oh, we'll be done in just a little bit. Two tones. Thank you. And so his father starts putting, and you can come back there and patch it together, starts putting the fireplace together, and he's telling Desi in Spanish, go along with this. And Desi's watching his dad work, and his father's telling the guy who's paying for this tile for this new fireplace, he's going, this is the latest thing, all the high-class social families are using this broken tile technique. And the guy goes, really, you say? And so he finishes the tile, and Desi goes, that's a lesson I need to learn, how to get by when it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to get by. So all of a sudden, broken tile fireplaces became a thing, mosaic tile. So Desi is going to school at St. Patrick Catholic School. He's ready to graduate at 19. Now, he's been in America for just 3 years. He's learned English, he's learned guitar, he's learned the conga drum, but now he's got to make a way for himself. But his teacher, Father Barry, says, no, don't graduate right away. Stay an extra year, and what you want to do is learn English, learn American history. So Desi stays on for another year, and when he graduates, he's got to find a job. He's playing with the Saboni Septet. He's playing guitar with the Saboni Septet right across the street at the Roni Plaza Hotel. He's picked up by Xavier Cugat, who sees him and said, man, this kid's got talent, this kid's got charisma, and he hires him. He takes him on tour, and a few months later, Desi says, I'm ready to go off on my own. And he said, Xavier, if I do, can I use your name to promote myself? There has to be a way. And Cugat says, yeah, go ahead, you give me a cut, you can use my name. Desi comes here to where the Miami City Ballet is now, right here. And it's a nightclub. It's actually a restaurant called the Park Avenue Restaurant, and there was a nightclub attached to it. Desi is now trying to get his first job as an orchestra or a band leader at the age of 20. He sells the guy, Bobby Kelly, on the fact that I've got a band, I've got a whole setup, I'm like with Xavier Cugat, I'm a big shot up in New York City. Bobby Kelly, hey, my restaurant's just about to open, this is great. And so he hires him. Desi doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have a musician in his band. He calls Cugat and he tells him, he goes, you have to send me some musicians. And it's right near New Year's Eve. There's no musicians who are available to help. So Cugat sends him what he's got. Desi goes to the train station, picks up these guys. They're Irishmen and Italians, and they don't know Latin American songs. So Desi goes out for his first set over here. and he bombs. And Bobby Kelly's like, "You're kidding me? You know, you sold me on this." And Desi says, "You know, I'm sorry. You know, we just had a short time to rehearse. They just got in." He goes, "Next set, you go out by yourself." Desi goes out with his guitar. He's okay. But between the second and third set, he's thinking, there has to be a way. There has to be a way. What can I do? These musicians can't play my music. What can I teach them really quickly? And he goes back to his childhood in Santiago, Cuba, and he remembers the conga lines that would go from dawn to dusk, dusk to dawn. These big parties that would go from village to village to village, people just getting in a conga line and having this rhythm as they went through the countryside. And he goes there and he teaches them bump, 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 bump. And he teaches them that rhythm. They learn it. And he goes out, he jumps up on the bar with his conga drums, and Lou Nicoletti, his pal, says, "Okay, everybody, follow Desi. We're going to get a conga line going." And Lou Nicoletti gets behind Desi, people get behind Lou, and they start a conga line. Desi is like, he's on the bar, he's on the floor, he's running around the restaurant playing his conga drum, getting this conga line going. And that just captured the crowd. It was mesmerizing. And eventually, he got so confident in this, he would lead them down this sidewalk and he'd take them through the park across the street over here. And he would get this big line snaking all around Collins Park. And all of a sudden, the Miami Herald is saying, "This guy's a phenomenon. This guy's a star." And that's when everything took off. He's king of the conga. He's the conga king, King Kong. And from that, he gets the attention of these Broadway producers. He gets in Too Many Girls on Broadway, and he's in a musical, and it's like, wait a second, all this stuff just happened. He's still struggling, but he's making progress. And then they send him to Hollywood to be in the movie Too Many Girls, and then that's where he meets Lucille Ball. They get married and they work together. They're fighting like cats and dogs, but they love each other so madly. To save their marriage, Lucy converts the show My Favorite Husband to I Love Lucy, and all of a sudden Desi-Lou is born and I Love Lucy is born. They keep the rights to the show, they keep the master reels, so because they wanted to shoot it on film, not kinescope, to preserve the quality. And when they did that, CBS said, "If you do that, we're not going to pay you as much." And Desi, there has to be a way. He says, "Okay, I'll take less. Lucy and I will take less, but we keep the master reels." And they said, "Good deal." Desi says, "Great deal." That created reruns. So by 1956, they've made millions of dollars through I Love Lucy, all the merchandising that came with it, enough money to buy RKO Studios, the studio where they shot Too Many Girls in 1940. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So if any student ever says, "Well, I can't make it, the deck is stacked against me, things are too hard," look at this guy. Look at this guy and see what he accomplished in 20 years. Phenomenal. Yeah. This guy invented modern television.
Yeah. And it's important to know he basically lived, worked in this area in Miami Beach.
Lived and worked
just like a lot of Cubans who were coming, not just in 33, but even before in the 20s, 30s, fleeing political repression, persecution,
right.
The political situation in Cuba. A lot of the political leaders who later became leaders in Cuba or had been leaders stayed in this South Beach-ish area
Yes.
of Miami Beach. So Desi is kind of the younger version of that, and he's not a politician himself, but he's a result of that era. And you could see what one immigrant who faces these hardships from a young age was able to achieve, kind of having grown up in that political environment and having survived it in many ways and thrived from it and really taken off.
And he became a role model. A lot of people who were here today at this ceremony were looking at him and think, that's the guy. Oh, he was a Cuban American on national television. People adored him. And that was his magic. That was his gift. He was like the George Bailey of America. You know, his life touched so many others.
Well, thank you very much.